Plus, I just put my little Google Hangout on grid view, so now I can see a whole bunch of different pictures and numbers, and where I used to not be able to see you, now I can. So kind of cool. Well, I thank you for being here and being on time. Just going to go over a few things. As you know, yesterday was kind of a crazy day as we get an announcement and then a revision. So just kind of want to explain that to start with. One, Dallas County came out and, Jenkins said that we needed to be closed 60 days. And that was kind of the word that we were taking, is that school would be out for the remainder of the year. And then Dallas County came back at 4:45 yesterday afternoon, and we are now closed indefinitely, but we will review it whether we're going to finish school the week of May 4th. So right now we're just closed as normal through May 4th, and then Dr. Lopez and his cabinet, with guidance from Dallas County, will re-examine and make a decision on the rest of the school year. So that's where we are with that. If you didn't get the call out or the email, however you received information from the district, that is where we are regarding school closure. So we're not officially closed through the end. We're just closed indefinitely until May the 4th, and then they'll review. So for those of you that are parents of seniors, we did have Dr. Lopez on his own, went and secured the Curtis Colwell Center for us. As you know, that many districts across this area use the Curtis Colwell Center for graduation. He went ahead and secured Garland ISD a few more dates in case we are able to hold those as a big group. So we still have our May 21st date. We also now have June 18th, and we also have July 9th. So depending on what Dallas County says, what we can and can't do, we still have that as an option. Other than that, we are still examining things we can do if holding it at the Curtis Colwell Center is not an option. So there is that. Next, I want to talk about grading. I know some have reached out about, is our classwork being graded at things we're doing inside of Google Classroom for the teachers? Grades aren't being put in. The grading policies and stuff, they're supposed to go to the board this week on Tuesday. And we should have an answer hopefully this week about exactly what that looks like. Now, what's been happening or should be happening, students should be completing work and then submitting it. Teachers should be giving feedback. I know that's happening in many classes. I know in my own son's class that's happening. If it's not happening, it should be. Don't hesitate to reach out to me via email if there's any issues or questions concerning feedback that your students are getting. Because what's going to happen is once the grading policies are approved, the work that has been submitted should be able to be submitted scoured into the grade book. So it is important that students continue to do the work that they are assigned, because at some point that stuff is going to be submitted into the grade. And then the next thing I want to talk about, AP exams. If you have an AP student in an AP class, AP exams are still on. That's the only thing that they haven't really postponed or said anything about, other than just the format of the test is going to be a little bit different. I'm kind of old school, and I still get the physical Dallas Morning News. Yeah, I know, here we are meeting virtually, but I still get the paper. I don't know, I like it. So, but AP exams are going to happen. They're going to be 45 minutes each. They're going to run May the 11th through the 22nd. Makeup days June 1st through the 5th, I believe. And so it's going to look a little bit different, but the dates are still the same. Mr. Qua and the AP teachers will be sending out information regarding AP exams. So, but those are happening in May. And then other than that, that's kind of it that was on my laundry list of things to be sure and get out to you. I do know that as of right now, excuse me, that we are not doing any more technology distributions as far as at the main sites or anything like that. We feel pretty comfortable on the number of people that have technology in their hands. I don't know if the building's going to open at any point. I know some students still have items in there. That has not been discussed as far as when can we get our stuff. And then I guess also regarding seniors, I know some people have reached out about refunds and things like that. We are not at that point, as you can imagine. Not just Saxby High School, it's the entire all 7 high schools that have contracts and stuff with different venues. So GISD Legal is in on it, and they're examining contracts and all that kind of stuff, because we can't just do one thing for Saxby and not do it for, Lakeview or whatever the case may be. So that's kind of where we are. I don't have any other information on that. We submitted our information to GISD Legal, and they'll let us know. The big concern, I'm meeting with seniors again on, I believe it's Tuesday. And again, their top 2 things that they have said is they want a graduation and, if possible, a prom, but graduation first, prom second. So as far as the senior brunt, cotillion awards, things like that, I don't know what it looks like, but we have submitted all that stuff to back. We got some. So other than that, I don't know if I said it, but I'm not gonna hold one of these next weekend. I know everybody's shelter in place and stuck at home, but it is a weekend that I'm gonna. Well, I don't ever take off, but I'm not going to hold one of these on Saturday next week. We can do one the following. I will be available by email. So I'll go over here to the chat box and answer any questions. So if you have questions, post them over here in the chat box, and I will get to those. Christy, you're welcome. The district's done a great job with the backup plan, and we're still looking at all things, even outside the Colwell Center. I will say this: if anybody is connected to rules and regulations or know people in the city of Garland that know the rules and city ordinance and things like that, when we're done with this call, if you'll stay on, I have some questions for you at the end. Are we still able to pick up prescriptions, or did that stop with shelter in place? No, prescriptions are still available. Our nurses are answering those. Now, they're doing it at a central location. So, Kelly, if you want to reach out to Nurse Kogel or Shock, they can give you the information on how to get those prescriptions. Will there be a separate distribution for cap and gowns as well as yearbook? Yes, Christy. So I talked to Brian Cheek yesterday. Now, I do want, for those of you that are senior parents, because I've had a few reach out to myself and to different people. Keep in mind, Balfour is a vendor. So I know somebody asked for a refund for a cap and gown. I can't give a refund for a cap and gown because that's an outside vendor. So that you're going to have to contact Balfour if that's something you're interested in. If you just kind of cashed it in and said, we're not going to do it. I know some people want cap and gown for pictures. Brian is aware of that. Now, we weren't going to pass those out until May the 13th, I believe. So we're still a few weeks away from them being in. But when we spoke yesterday, we were trying to come up with a plan of how we're going to distribute those to the seniors, because even that distribution, we'd kind of like to make that special. So we're working on a plan for that. Yearbooks, I did talk to Tread, and as soon as those are ready, those were going to go out in mid-May as well. So as soon as those are ready, we'll get a distribution plan together. Obviously, that's after the May 4th date. I know that everybody has fingers crossed that, hey, maybe we'll be back in school or some sort of school or normalcy, but we'll have a plan in place for cap and gowns and yearbooks. Any ideas if yearbooks were finished and will be distributed at some point? Yeah, Christy. So Miss McClendon did a great job with her staff, and even her husband. They were out at every spring event there was, whether it was playoff games or district games or performances and all that kind of stuff, all the way up to spring break, they did a really good job of covering everything that was on, that was going on. So I know those things have been submitted. Now, anything that was supposed to happen after spring break obviously won't be in there, but up to spring break, they had plenty of pictures and stories and all that kind of stuff. So they will be finished and we will get those out. The ASL binder, as of right now, no. If we do ever get a chance to go back up and get stuff, teachers have had a couple of opportunities to get belongings out to help them, like as far as document cameras and teaching tools. We were able to go in there. That's something that if that is given to teachers again, then possibly you could ask Ms. Sedberry to grab that and work something out. But as of right now, we don't have any guidelines as far as us being able to get back into it. All right, let me get over here to scroll down. Should graduation announcements have been received to our home address or separately? I ordered them with cap and gown. So typically what happens, the cap and gown, that whole package comes to school. But I can find out and have Balfour. That's a good question. Have Balfour send something out because I'm sure other people have that same question as far as announcements. To be honest, I don't remember if the announcements come in with the cap and gown and the tassel and all that. If somebody had a senior in the last couple of years and you remember, you may type over in the box that how they did that. I just don't remember. I was wondering how we're going to do finals. Kayla, that's a great question. I'm sure there'll be some sort of type project, but I don't know that. Once we get more definite grading guidelines for the district, we'll take a look at that. Okay, Amy, if you would send me an email. Ms. Timmisberry, will you type my email in there? And Amy, if you'll just send me an email with your daughter's name, I can look at it to see if there's any circumstances why she's not doing that. She would not get any new grades. Maybe that's the question I can answer now. She wouldn't receive any new grades from after spring break because they're all on hold. Now, if work was due or supposed to be completed over spring break or prior to spring break, teachers could put those in. But any work done after spring break, all teachers are in a holding pattern until we have district guidelines regarding that. Karen, thank you for answering that. You got your grad invitations and other stuff at home, just not happening. Perfect. Okay, thank y'all for answering that. Daughter, as a junior, was fitted for a letter jacket. I never received an invoice to pay for. Will I pay next year? Stacy, I think so. If you want to, you could reach out to Lauren Ellis, who's over letter jackets, or Dr. Halamchak, and Ms. Timmisberry could put their emails in there as well, and you could just email them directly because they have a direct contact to Powell Hall with Texas Star. No new grades added or updated. Okay, yeah. So that's right, Amy. You won't until the school approves for what the district policy. Okay, Michael, to answer your question, the directive was given by the district and by me to the staff as far as now this is for on-level classes. Students should not receive more than 2 assignments per class per week. And then they should have about a week to turn that around. Now, when an AP, DC, or IB class, that does not apply. Obviously, we don't want them to overload or overwork the students. So we've asked them, you know, somewhere between 2 to 4 assignments for those AP, IB, DC classes. Now, I know what some teachers are doing because some students have asked, I'm bored, I need more work, I want something else to do. They've marked some assignments as optional, so they've placed more in there, but those should be designated as optional assignments. So if you're getting a ton of assignments, then I probably need to know about that. Just shoot me an email. Would there be a possibility of honoring students with an award ceremony offline, especially our seniors, maybe showing the yearbook photos in place of walking stage? That is something we're looking at, Nathan. It is a lot of those things are on the table. I talked to Dr. Russell yesterday or Thursday. I don't know, the days run together. And we talked about what it looks like online, what it doesn't look like. I mean, what it does look like if we're at the CPC. So all that kind of stuff is there. We are aware that even if things are lifted, that some students or parents may not want to participate. So how do we do that for those that don't want to participate and still make it special? So yes, those online things, virtual things, all those things are being talked about. And I'm sure the seniors will have some ideas come Tuesday afternoon as well. I assume this will be determined after a decision made with kids returning to school, but for seniors, there. Yeah, I would assume so, Shelley, as far as cafeteria money. That I'm sure they'll find a way to do that. How do parents verify that students have completed and submitted their assignments? We got an email from Van and they're missing something. Mark, you could reach directly out to Ms. Taylor. Also, if you could have access to your students' Google Classroom and check that. And what I found out in my own kids' Google Classroom is sometimes they submit it, but there's a little button that says turn it in. And if they don't hit that turn it in, then it's not really submitted. So you may just double check with Ms. Taylor or get on your child Google Classroom and check that out. One more grade related question. If work doing now isn't counting, what is the strategy for it? So Amy, as far as that, you know, in the old grading and grouping, it was teacher had to have an 8th grade minimum requirement, ample time to reteach, all that kind of stuff. Those things were brought up to the district. We were told don't worry about the 8th grade minimum because we don't really know what it looks like. And I don't know as far as are students going to receive a numerical grade or students going to receive a pass-fail. As you look across the news in different districts are doing it different as far as when GPA grades stop and rank stop and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff has been put into special programs hands, into curriculum instruction, into those higher up in the district. So they're making those decisions and a plan for all 3 levels, you know, elementary, middle, and high. So I don't know what that looks like, but they know that whatever we do, because we do have students that struggle with technology, struggle with having to work, struggle with siblings, all that kind of stuff, that the impact is not going to be harsh or detrimental to the student. And Amy, I don't know if that answers your question, but with not knowing what the plan looks like officially, it's hard for me to say what it's going to be as far as raising grades and how it impacts. Nathan answered that question for Shelley. Is Friday 410 off per the calendar, or is it an instructional day? So that's a good question. And I'm going to read to you what the district has said. Now, what is going to happen for the staff? Our staff is going to be available to provide any academic support. Now, so they're not necessarily going to adjust their at-home learning plans, but they shouldn't have like any meetings or chats unless the kids need them or want them. So, but Saxony High School staff will be available to work remotely on April the 20th. So that's kind of a roundabout way to answer your question. Is it an instructional day? If your students need it, the staff will be there to help. Does that help, Adrian? Okay. Shelley, for National Honor Society, my daughter wasn't able to finish her volunteer hours due to all this. So do we know if this will be waived or extended time? Only thing I can say, Shelley, to that is I would assume so. You could reach out to Miss Mahoney. And but I think with all these deadlines and things that they're going to be slid or extended time allowed, because everybody, all campuses and districts are in the same boat. Okay, we have about 8 minutes left. So what else? Are we still doing 3 weeks of grades and 6 weeks as well? As of right now, Maria, yes. Again, come Tuesday, if that's presented to the board, what that looks like, it may change. So I'm not sure. But as far as I've been told, yes, April the 9th would be the end of this 5th grade. What else? You got to, I don't know, there's about 78 people on here, so surely there's some questions. Here we go. Nathan, I kind of addressed that a little bit earlier. It's in legal's hands, and they're looking at all the new dates and refunds and things like that. So is senior prom officially canceled? No, sir, not yet. It's postponed. What we did do is, I think it was originally scheduled for May the 2nd. We pushed it back to May the 9th to give us a little bit more time, because that May 2nd date was before the May 4th review. So we pushed it back to May the 9th. So we still have a venue. If it's extended beyond that, you know, some of the seniors are interested in having it at the school. So we wouldn't necessarily have it at an outside venue. We would have it at the school. So, so that's what I have for that, Jeff. Michelle, will official transcripts be sent out as scheduled after May 21st for college? No, and I had somebody else ask me that as far as diplomas and things like that, as of military requirements and things. So there'll be a plan in place for that, because school would officially be over, it'd just be the ceremony. So we'll have a plan to get those out, whether that's in person or pickup or mail. Kids have told us they would like it in the summer to get together. Yes, that's been discussed, and the seniors talked about, you know, exactly when would we cut it off? How deep into the summer do we want to go? Some even said, well, if we can't, you know, obviously graduation, get that done, and then if we can't do some sort of prom, maybe we could do something special like at homecoming for those seniors coming back that are able to. So that is something that has been out on the table as well. Yeah, Michael, you're not the only one. I agree 100%. At this point, I'll take any baseball. Did you say graduation could still be May 21st? Well, if we go back to school, you know, if it's reviewed May 4th and they say, hey, go back to school, then yeah, it could be May 21st, but if not, it could be June 18th. It could be July 9th. We'll just have to see what Dallas County says. Okay, what else? Keep in mind, we're not going to meet next Saturday, but I'll be available by email if you have any pressing questions. If Jenkins extends shelter in place again, will the district follow suit? Meaning, yes, I would assume so, Christy. That's kind of been the theme. If he extends it, then we would as well, just to be in compliance. When will students be allowed to access school to get personal belongings? Nathan, I don't have an answer for that. I have teachers that need to go up there as well, and we haven't been given any guidelines on that just yet. You're welcome, Jeff. It's kind of nice to talk to you all, even though it's virtually and over here. So. Thank you for the nice comments. And if y'all have time, you may shoot one to your kiddos' teachers. They're working hard and miss kiddos. That's, you can imagine. Will the teacher parade be rescheduled? I hope. Well, I hope we don't have to have a teacher parade and we could go back to school. But if shelter in place is lifted or something like that, yeah, we're gonna try to do something big for sure. Somebody's not muted. The 214 number. There's a lot of those on here, but let me see. Can I mute it? I did. Cool. Learning new features every day. See. Not seeing updates on Skyward. What's the story with grading? Molly, I kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. The new policies go to the board hopefully this Tuesday, and we should have updates on what that looks like. As of right now, teachers are in a holding pattern. They should be giving feedback to students, and as soon as policies are approved, then they'll be able to update grades. Are all UIL athletics, such as districts and regionals, canceled, or could they be rescheduled? The newspaper today said that they're still holding out hope. I haven't had any contact with UIL or anything like that. So, but in the newspaper, in Dallas Morning News, and I'm sure it's online as well, it talks about the private schools have canceled, but UIL is still holding out a little bit of hope. They haven't officially canceled yet. Thank you, Jesselyn, for that. All right, we have less than a minute. Anybody have any final questions? Remember, do I know about auditions for band next year? Yeah, they're probably going to be virtual. I know they've been talking about that as far as drill team and cheerleading and all that. If we're not physically able to go back to school, then there's going to be something coming out about that. But I have very limited information regarding that. Keep in mind, if you have any contacts to City of Garland, or you know any city people that know the city ordinances, stay on here because I have a couple of questions for you. Less than a minute. So if anybody doesn't have any other questions, you are free to go. So, oh, thank you, Laura. It was fun to do. So we miss our seniors. We miss everybody, but miss the seniors for sure. Happy Easter to you. Wendy, you're welcome. Miss your kiddos, miss our kiddos for sure. So, all right, it's 10:30. You can click off. I'll see you all in a couple of weeks. I'm going to hang out here in case somebody has City of Garland connections or city ordinance connections. You may type your name over here in the box so I know who I'm going to be talking to if you have those type of connections.